Why wars outlast the original reason? Welcome to Vantage, Aditya. Have you noticed something strange about current war situations and history? Many wars continue long after the reason they started no longer exists. The goal fades. The justification collapses. Yet the conflict survives. Watch till the end, because this is not a story about war. It is a story about the human mind. Most wars do not end when objectives are achieved. They end when continuing becomes psychologically unbearable. Let us start with the sunk cost fallacy, one of the strongest forces in human behavior. Once lives are lost, resources are spent, and reputations are committed, stopping feels like admitting waste. The mind reframes continuation as responsibility. Ending the war feels like saying the sacrifice meant nothing, and the human ego cannot tolerate that. History shows this clearly. There are wars where the original trigger disappears, treaties change, threats dissolve, leadership shifts, yet fighting continues. Not because victory is near, but because withdrawal feels like humiliation. At that point, the war is no longer about the future. It becomes about defending the past. The second force is identity lock-in. Over time, conflict stops being a decision and becomes an identity. Entire generations grow up knowing nothing else. Institutions are built around the war. Careers, budgets, honors, and narratives start depending on its continuation. Once identity forms, peace becomes dangerous. Not because peace is bad, but because it threatens meaning. If the war ends, people must ask uncomfortable questions. Who are we without this conflict? What was all this for? This is why many long conflicts feel frozen in time. They survive not on strategy, but on self-definition. The third driver is escalation psychology. Every action demands a response. Every response demands a stronger response. Backing down is interpreted as weakness, even when escalation is irrational. Psychologists call this commitment escalation, the tendency to double down on failing courses of action to protect self-image. At this stage, winning is no longer the goal. Not losing face becomes the goal. There is also bureaucratic momentum, a quieter but powerful force. Once systems are built, military, economic, administrative, they resist shutdown. Stopping a war requires dismantling entire structures. Continuing the war requires only routine. Humans prefer routine over reckoning. Another overlooked theory is loss aversion. People fear losses more than they value gains. Ending a war feels like losing territory, pride, credibility, or dominance, even if continuing guarantees further loss. So the system chooses the familiar pain over uncertain peace. Here is the most unsettling insight. Wars often outlast their reasons because the reason was never the true fuel. Emotion was. Fear, pride, identity, momentum. When these take over, logic becomes irrelevant. And this pattern is not limited to war. It appears in failing businesses that refuse to shut down. In careers people hate but cannot leave. In relationships that continue long after trust is gone. When effort replaces purpose, stopping feels impossible. And when stopping feels impossible, damage becomes invisible. The deepest form of power is not persistence. It is the ability to recognize when persistence has turned into blindness. If this changed how you see conflict, internal or external, stay with Vantage, Aditya. Because clarity is not about choosing sides. It is about understanding why humans stay trapped long after the door is open.